This changes everything for the Golden State Warriors. As you all know, Game 3 just happened between the Warriors and Lakers, and the Warriors ended up getting blown out by the Los Angeles Lakers 127-97. In today's video, we're going to be going through 5 things that the Golden State Warriors must change if they want to win this series against the Los Angeles Lakers, and how these changes will also help them win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hit that red button down below.
The first is that Jordan Poole needs to start playing a lot better. As you all know, Jordan Poole just signed himself a max contract for the Warriors this season. However, he isn't living up to that hype. Jordan Poole in the most recent game, in Game 3, had himself 5 points, went 0 from 4, had 6 assists and 3 rebounds. So I honestly do think Jordan Poole needs to improve and needs to start showing out if the Warriors do want a chance to actually beating the Los Angeles Lakers. Jordan Poole shot 2 from 9 from the field and went 0 from 4, like I mentioned, from the 3, and it wasn't looking too good, as he also had 4 turnovers in this matchup. I do think Jordan Poole, if he isn't a great defender, which a lot of people do know, he needs to start providing more on offense, because if he can't even provide on offense, which is what has happened so far this series, it definitely is a bit of a worry to have Jordan Poole out there. So with Poole, he already is a little bit of a defensive liability. Now, he isn't terrible. I do think he is still a solid defender, but he needs to provide a lot more on offense, whether it's 15, even 20 points a game. I do think in order for Warriors to actually have a chance of beating the Los Angeles Lakers, Poole definitely needs to show out. One of the reasons why I do think this is the case is that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson have a lot of attention on them when it comes to just running around, trying to get open and trying to shoot threes. And because of that, it does leave a huge opportunity for Jordan Poole to be able to attack the basket or even get a couple of shots up. One of the reasons why is that the LA Lakers, yes, they are a pretty good defensive team. However, if all the attention is on Curry and Thompson, that basically takes out a lot of the star defenders in this matchup, and because of that, it will definitely have Jordan Poole have a weaker defensive player on him. So Jordan Poole needs to start taking advantage of this, and I think it is super important for him to continue to actually play at a high level due to the fact that he is one of the players off the bench that is getting the most minutes. He actually had 22 minutes in this game of Game 3. The only other person that tied with him in minutes was actually Dante DiVincenzo, who also had 22, but on top of that, Jordan Poole definitely needs to provide a lot more. He did a fantastic job in the assist category, do not get me wrong. I think his passing ability and playmaking ability in general has definitely improved quite a lot, but scoring definitely needs to be his thing, and right now he is in a little bit of a cold streak, but he has to turn it around if the Warriors do want a chance of beating the Los Angeles Lakers. We did see him do very well in Game 2, and I do think he needs to be able to do this on a consistent basis rather than games here and games there. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson have a lot of attention on him, like I mentioned, and now is the time for Jordan Poole to show what he's made of and show that he is worth a max contract. The second is that Jonathan Kuminga needs to get a lot more game time. Now, I know I'm not an NBA coach, however, I do believe that Jonathan Kuminga can really provide a lot for the Warriors, especially during this matchup against the LA Lakers. No one really knows why Jonathan Kuminga isn't getting a lot of minutes, and I do see a lot of you comment down below mentioning why Kuminga isn't getting a lot of minutes. Now, I personally don't know. Steve Kerr has just said in multiple interviews that they are looking to try everything possible, but we haven't really seen much from Kuminga, not only in just this playoff series, but also in the Sacramento Kings series as well. Now, Kuminga actually mentioned on the topic that he believes he can help this team win a championship, and I don't really know the reason why Kuminga isn't getting that opportunity. He did play 9 minutes in this matchup, and even in those 9 minutes, he was able to get 10 points, went 1 from 3, and also went 3 from 4 from the field. He had pretty much a better stat line, or pretty much a really good stat line, even compared to someone like Jordan Poole, who got 22 minutes. I honestly do think Kuminga can provide a lot because he is pretty much Andrew Wiggins 2.0. Now, if we look at the lineup that they did run, they actually ran Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, JaMychal Green, and also Draymond Green as their starting 5. So Kevon Looney was actually on the bench. One of the reasons why I do believe this was the case was definitely to have a lot more shooters out there. Now, I'm not saying Kuminga is a knockdown 3-point shooter, but I do think Kuminga could have been in that role instead of JaMychal Green. Kuminga is not only young, but he's fast, he's strong, he's tall enough, but not people know that he is 6'8", 6'7", so Kuminga definitely is tall enough to guard some of the other players in the Los Angeles Lakers. He's able to switch on LeBron James, Jared Vanderbilt, or even Anthony Davis if needed, and I do think they have been underutilizing someone like Kuminga, especially especially throughout this whole series. He does deserve a lot more minutes in this matchup due to the fact that I think Kuminga can provide a lot, not only on just the offensive floor, but also on the defensive floor as well. Kuminga, as you all know, is a fantastic defender, and I really wouldn't see him having any problems guarding players such as Vanderbilt, LeBron, Anthony Davis if he needed to switch on them. And I think that's what makes Golden State Warriors very good, is that they have a lot of players that can switch on defenses and switch on pick and rolls. So because of that, I do think Kuminga definitely does deserve a chance to get a lot more minutes and prove what he is capable of doing. Now, don't get me wrong, Kuminga isn't a sharpshooter out there. However, I do think Kuminga, you have to respect him on the three-point line, and I think having Kuminga in that starting five would have given enough space and enough opportunity for other players in the Golden State Warriors to be able to score. And because of that, I do think the Warriors have been underutilizing him, and I think they need to change things up and get Kuminga a lot more minutes. They didn't play him during the Sacramento Kings, but I think now, especially with everything that's going on and with them getting smoked in this game 3, it's definitely time for him to make an adjustment. The third is that Warriors fans believe that Kevon Looney shouldn't get a lot of minutes in this matchup. Now guys, this is a pretty sad thing to see because I think Kevon Looney did a fantastic job against the Sacramento Kings, but I have read a lot of articles of Warriors fans saying that Kevon Looney shouldn't be out there due to the fact that he's clogging up the paint too much and not getting enough space to players such as Wiggins, Curry, and Thompson to be able to go to the ring. And I think this is something that why shooting is so important in the NBA. Kevon Looney definitely doesn't have a jump shot, and because of that, he is stuck inside the paint, and it is causing a lot of problems for players like Curry and Klay to be able to get open and drive to the hole. And that's why I think they did run the JaMychal Green lineup with him in instead of Looney, and it definitely did work. As you all know, the Warriors and Lakers were very close until the half, and then when they started playing a lot more of Kevon Looney and having more inside players, that's where they struggled quite a lot. I think this is something that is super important when it comes to the game of NBA, that now it definitely is a 3-ball type game, and because of that, I do think Warriors need to switch this up and maybe have Kevon Looney play less minutes and have other big men that are able to shoot to play more, such as JaMychal Green, such as Jonathan Kuminga, or even run maybe a small ball type lineup. That is also another possibility. But it definitely has seen a huge effect when players like Looney are inside the paint, because it has Anthony Davis inside the paint as well, which causes a lot of problems. And you know, Anthony Davis is a great defender, no doubt about it. So I do think, although I do love Kevon Looney and what he has done also in that Kings series, it's definitely more looking like Kevon Looney needs to sit out for this next matchup, and Warriors need to find a way to space out the floor a lot more and to have Anthony Davis outside the paint. I have noticed, and if you did watch the game 3, you will definitely notice as well that Warriors were looking very, very good when they were able to take Anthony Davis outside of the paint, or whether Anthony Davis was not in the paint or not in the game at all. And I think this is super important because AD is a great shot blocker. He is very, very tall, very long, and he is able to contest shots. So even though he may not get the block, his contesting on shots really does cause a lot of problems for players to score, and we definitely saw that against Curry, Wiggins, and Thompson every time they went to the hole. They definitely need a 5-shooter type lineup in order for them to actually run 5 people out and to continue to be able to leave the space for them to actually drive inside when they have the ball. So I think this is pretty sad to see, and like I mentioned, this is something that the Warriors fans have actually introduced, or something that they have brought to social media, and I can technically see why they would think this. But I do think it is a pretty good idea. Unfortunately, them being down 1 game, they definitely need to switch things up, and the fact that they lost by not only just 10 or 5 points, they lost by over 30 points is really important to actually understand what is going wrong and what they can do to actually change that. The fourth is that the Golden State Warriors need to be a better 3-point shooting team. Now, I never thought I'd say those words, especially for the Golden State Warriors, who pretty much have the 2 greatest 3-point shooters in the world. However, if we look at the numbers, it definitely does not lie. The Golden State Warriors as a team went 13 from 44 from 3. However, LA Lakers went 15 from 31. Now, to put that in perspective, Golden State Warriors shot 29% from the 3-point line. However, if we look at Lakers, they shot 48% from the 3-point line. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 48%. If we also look at the field goal in general, Warriors had 40% from the field, while LA Lakers had 52%. So you definitely see a huge discrepancy, and efficiency is definitely something that is slept on when it comes to this NBA game, and I do think it is something that they need to work on. Now, obviously, don't get me wrong, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, greatest shooters alive, but others players on the floor, other role players definitely need to continue to shoot at a high level and be able to make it on a consistent basis. If we look at other players, we had Draymond Green who went 0 from 1. JaMychal Green went 0 from 3. We also had Jordan Poole who went 0 from 4, and even Dante DiVincenzo who went 1 from 5. So these are just some of the standouts, but I do think as a whole and as a collective, they definitely need to be able to shoot more consistently, whether it's Steph or Clay or whether it's the role players. They definitely need to be shooting at that 35-40% range if they do want a chance. Now, as you all know, Warriors is a very three-point heavy team, and because of that, they really can't let it slip and can't have these bad shooting lights like they did have in this game 3. But if we also look at the Lakers, if we look at free throws as well, they shot 75.7%, while the Golden State Warriors shot 70.6%. So very easy to understand and to see why the Warriors definitely weren't able to claw back in this due to the fact their inefficiency out there on the floor. The fifth is that Klay Thompson needs to continue to play a great supporting role. Now, as you all know, Klay Thompson is the second splash brother, with Stephen Curry being the main guy of this team, but Klay Thompson is definitely second when it comes to who they look for when it comes to scoring. Now, Klay Thompson had himself 15 points, 7 rebounds, 0 assists, and he also went 3 from 9 from the 3 and 5 from 14 from the field. And this is something that we have seen with Klay Thompson so far, especially throughout this whole playoffs. He's had some great games, do not get me wrong, especially in game 2 where he dropped 25 plus points. However, Klay Thompson needs to continue to play at a very high level every single game. It can't happen, especially in today's NBA and especially in this playoff run where he's off a couple of games and on another couple of games as well. Klay Thompson needs to be switched on and needs to be able to provide scoring for this team, whether it's 20, 25 points every single night if they want a chance to win an NBA championship.